At T-Mobile for Business, unconventional thinking means we see things differently, so you can focus on what matters most. That's why we've become the leader in 5G, #1 in customer satisfaction, and a partner who includes 5G in every plan, so you get it all. Unconventional thinking is better for business. Open Signal awards T-Mobile as America's fastest 5G network USA. 5G user experience report July 2021. Capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan features. See T-Mobile.com. For JD Power 2020 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Welcome to Car Sales Talk 101, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is. Here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Car Sales Talk 101. I'm Terry Cameron. Thanks for hanging out again with me this week. This week I want to talk about something that's really near and dear to my heart and to most managers, but especially general managers and dealers. And that's capturing the finance. We talk about getting customers to finance with us all the time, but most of us don't realize how important that is to us. If a customer goes outside finance, and what I mean by outside finance, they're using their own credit union, their own bank. They're not using one of the financial institutions that we use. They're not filling out a credit application and let us try to secure their financing. And a lot of us don't care about that. Well, let me tell you this. The number one reason we need to get them to finance with us is to keep our doors open. Over the past several years, the finance department is probably the biggest income provider, gross provider for the dealership. And it's very important that we have an opportunity to capture the financing of all of our customers. It could even be so bad if we don't capture it enough to where we could actually sell ourselves out of business. We need that money. And if you don't get paid on the finance gross, if you don't get paid on warranty penetration, if you don't get paid on the gap or any other products, including the reserve that they make in the finance office, well, it still has got to be important to you. Because if it's not for that money, the dealership doesn't have any money to pay you. Let's face it, the gross profit on the front end of selling a car is not what it used to be. Now, it is still what we want to do. We still want to make as much gross as possible because the one thing that can happen is we don't have to worry about them refinancing and we lose our front end gross. Now, we can lose our gross in finance if maybe we're hitting the customer too high on a payment, too high on interest rate, and they end up finding out that they can get their rate a little bit lower somewhere else. They end up going there and financing, and all the money that was made in the finance department, at least the reserve portion of it, is gone. We don't want that to happen. Again, that's real. That is very, very important to the livelihood of the dealership and the dealership's employees. So, I used to tell my customers whenever I was dealing with them, whenever they're talking about using their own bank, I would tell them, hey, it doesn't matter to us. It doesn't matter to me. I could care less who you finance with. My job is to help you find the car that meets your wants and needs and get it to fit into your budget. And if you give us a chance, we're going to give you the best deal. You've worked really hard trying to find the best place to do business, and when you're going to get the best deal, you might as well work just as hard to save your money in the finance end of the deal. When I tell them that I really don't care less about that, I'm not telling them the truth. I do care. But I just want to lower their defenses a little bit and let them know that I'm there to help them. Because you know what? We really are. So outside finance, OSF, is a no-no. As a salesperson, it's really tough because you have a car deal and the customer is going with their own bank. They might even show up with a draft or a check with them. And man, the path of least resistance is to just say, okay, let's fill this out. I'll get the exact amount for you. And then you go back and sign your paperwork and get out of here. Bad news, guys. That's bad news. And you won't last long at your current dealership if you let that happen too much. So how do we fix this? How do we not pressure that customer to finance with us? How do we get them in with our finance manager, or at least a manager, to give them an opportunity to convert them to our financing? Well, I call it the TT&L turn, the tax, title, and license turn. Now, if you're a sales manager, this is probably a big no-no, but it's if it's going to be done, it should be the last ditch effort. But we don't want to send the customer away with a buyer's order with a bottom line for them to go pick up their check. We don't want to do that, not without offering them some products. I see it happen too many times where we just go ahead and give them the bottom line. They get approved for it, and that's all there is to it. There's no back end. And again, if this is a new car deal or even most used car deals, the gross profit is not enough income, especially for the amount of work that we put into a deal for us to make a good living. So what I would say is a customer wants to use their own bank. That's fine. No problem. But before you do that, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we need to get you with our business manager. Don't scare them away and tell them you have to get them with the finance manager. Nobody wants to talk to the finance manager. That just means it's going to cost them money. But Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I need to get you in there with my business manager, because before you go to your bank, we want to make sure that you have all the numbers correct. You know, out here, ours are just a really good estimate, but when you go see your bank, you're going to need to have the exact amount. So we need to know exactly what the tax, title, and license are, and our business manager will give that to you and give you the proper documentation that you need to take to your financial institution to get the money to buy the car. Is that fair? Of course it's fair. And what we want to do is get them to our finance manager. So finance managers, sales managers, general sales managers, you got to take these people serious, and you got to get them into to see the business manager, the finance manager, if you want any chance of capturing their finance. So how do you do that? You talk to your finance managers ahead of time and let them know that whenever this happens, and we have a customer that wants to go somewhere else, we are going to give you an opportunity to TO them, to turn them, and maybe talk them into financing with us. And there's all kinds of reasons, and I don't want to get into all that. Most of your finance managers already know there are lots of benefits to finance with the dealerships, lenders, especially the manufacturers, because they offer special rates. They even give you some rebates if you finance with them. There's a lot of reasons. Number one, in my book, other than the 0% that you might get or the extra rebate that you might get, is the fact that that our banks only finance cars, trucks, and SUVs. Their credit union finances everything. So what I want them to do is leave that loan with their credit union and their bank there for emergencies, for maybe some household emergencies or vacation money, and use the money from one of our lenders to get them the car that they want. That money is just going to be for their car. Their bank is still going to have that line of credit open there for them to use whatever they need it for, other than purchasing a car. So then we get them back in there with our business manager, and our business manager is going to go over the benefits of financing with us. They're also going to go over the benefits of as far as a vehicle service contract. And if you have a good finance manager, they're going to ask a lot of questions and propose a service contract that suits that customer best based on their driving habits and how long they keep their cars. We have an opportunity to sell our gap insurance, which is very, very important. Now, I know a lot of people think this is a waste of money, but you know there is a benefit to all of this. And if you're not the expert on it, don't just take it the opposite direction and tell your customers and everybody else that you know it's not to do it, it's not worth it. Because the first time you do that, your customer is going to come in and want to know why we're not going to fix a particular thing on their vehicle that happened. And because we never gave them an opportunity to buy our service contract. Now, when they're back with our business manager, the business manager will have them sign off on something saying they do not want it. They waive the service contract. They waive the gap. They waive the maintenance program. They waive any benefit that they have, any product that they have to make things easier for them in the life of their ownership with the car. So, are they going to spend a lot of time with them? Well, no, not if they're going to go to their bank, but they are going to give them all the numbers that they need and maybe have the opportunity to add that service contract to that number so when they go to their bank, they can get that financed too. Now, the good news is if they do spend a lot of time with your customer, it's because they got them to fill out an application and they captured their business and they're contracting right now with the dealership. I'm not quite sure of the percentage. I think it was somewhere in the 70% range that said that customers that finance with the dealership and customers that service their vehicle at the dealership, you have a 70% plus chance of them coming back and doing business with you in the future. Well, if you plan on doing this for a living, and if you're a professional, it'll be a good living, that's a big, big plus. Nothing better than having a bad day or a bad week and you have a customer come in that purchased a car from you several years ago, did their financing, does their services, and says, hey, you know what? It's time for me to get another one, or it's time for me to get my daughter one, or it's time for me to bring one of my friends or relatives in so you can help them out just like you helped me out. So again, the last thing I want you to do is remember the T&L close. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, before you go anywhere and you do anything else, I need to get you with my business manager so they can go over the tax, title, and license and make sure you have the exact number that you need whenever you're talking to your financial institution. Don't worry, your finance manager knows what to do when they get them back there. That's a great way to start converting people into captured finance customers and making yourself a superstar on your team. So guys, remember, the sky's the limit. And I'll see you in a week or so.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please rate it and write a review on Apple Podcast. We appreciate your valuable feedback. You can email Terry at 10minutesalestalk@hot.rr.com. And don't forget to share the show with a friend.
At T-Mobile for Business, unconventional thinking means we see things differently, so you can focus on what matters most. That's why we've become the leader in 5G, #1 in customer satisfaction, and a partner who includes 5G in every plan, so you get it all. Unconventional thinking is better for business. Open Signal awards T-Mobile as America's fastest 5G network USA. 5G user experience report July 2021. Capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com. For JD Power 2020 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Hi, I'm Pete. I'm an IT manager. Today I want to talk about...
Pete, heads up. We've been hacked.
What happened?
My password is my birthday. Well, everyone knows that. February 14th.
Why would everyone...
I don't get how these people figure this stuff out.
I think I do. Have you ever updated it?
Yes. I changed it to Valentine's Day.
Okay, we're protected with Connection Security Services.
You just gotta be more careful, Pete.
Okay, yep.
For hardware, software, support, and empathy. For Pete's sake, connect with Connection.